See? They're already starting to do something over there. This meeting is tonight. They're in the glory, right? That's what it is, people. Cutting down trees? Maybe, who knows? They're doing fucking something though, aren't they? Can't see nothing. Andre said they're digging pipes or something. See? Do you hear it? Already. This is what it's going to be like. It just gets louder and louder, more trucks. The cement on the road starts to crack. The cement on the sidewalk cracks. The cement cracking everywhere. Houses are shifting. They're flooding out. It's the only thing that props up the economy, people. And how do you think these guys pay for this shit? Huh? Like I said, it was the Punjabi. It was Punjabi people that illegally harvested my daughter's organs. It was a gynecologist with his own operating team that came in from fucking Vancouver, for crying out loud. Okay? And the government's covering it up. Right? Because they need this. Right? And they need the dead bodies that result from this. See, this shit's in the bag. Right? It's supposed to go in front of City Council tonight for final approval. And these guys, like, you know, if I went over there, they'd be like, go away, mind your own business. Well, you know, this is my business, people, because this is the shit that partly killed my family. Right? Right? Just money, money, money. Okay? Right? They kick you out on that top floor. They locked out that woman. She had been there for fucking years. They brought in a big fucking bin, threw all her shit out. She was trying to get in, but they locked her out, threw her fucking shit out, and then moved in the fucking UN soldiers, man. And you go say something to them? Oh, mind your own business. Yeah, well, this is my business, people, because if you notice, it's only 2 fucking doors away from me. Look at the trees they're cutting down. Right? And you know they want this house. You know it. They don't care what happens to my family. Not one iota. As a matter of fact, they capitalize off of the mayhem and the injury and the death and everything else that they fucking create with these stupid fucking buildings that don't mean shit. This one down here, blaring lights all the fucking time. And down there, right? All the time blaring fucking lights, okay? And apparently the fire alarms go off all the time. Andre says every time he goes to the courtyard, fucking fire alarms are going off all the time. The one that's gonna be beside this one still sits fucking empty, and it's been done for 2 fucking years. When the rain comes, it floods out down the alley into my garage. It floods out my neighbor's freaking yard. She's had 3 trees already drop, people, already drop from wood rot because of that fucking building that sits empty, right? And they're gonna build another one so the government can what? Depend on that and ignore the ramifications around what they're doing in terms of get out. This is property development. But before you get out, work like a fucking bitch until you're fucking blind, and so that when you get out, it will be easier to pick your ass off, because that's basically what it fucking boils down to.
Recognizes that our work takes place on the ancestral and traditional territories of the Coast Salish people in Surrey, that is the Casey, Conklin, and Samuel First Nations in the Benton. Council, there is an add-on in your table to the agenda. And it is under C, Finance Committee. Finance Committee will come. So for item F004 and F005, item number C1, then under A, under the clerk's report, I2, there is going to be something in items.
Good evening, Madam Councillor. I congratulate you on your perseverance for today. 79220111. This application is in the wrong place if council is undermined for public safety. According to the City of Surrey traffic web link, 64th Street at 152nd Avenue have traffic volumes of 19,300.
When I'm talking, you zoom in on me, okay?
Probably more like 33,000 today. The application's driveway access on 64th Avenue, location and proximity to the intersection is 190 meters to the east. 7:45 a.m. peak volumes on April the 15th, 2021, including buses and trucks, were more than 3,573, or 59.5 vehicles per minute. At 4:30 p.m. peak volumes, including buses and trucks, were more than 3,818, or 63.6 vehicles per minute. Without a TIA, this development, based on the 11th edition, produces another peak hour volume of 31 vehicles at the AM and 35 at the PM. These volumes are likely higher in the spring and summer months. Council needs to take into their safety consideration of the car accelerating from the traffic light travelling eastbound requires 86 meters to stop on a wet road. Trucks, semis and buses need more distance. These distances do not take into consideration driver reaction times and mechanical vehicle conditions. The application is in the wrong place. I'm running out of time, so please review page 18. In closing, notwithstanding the developers to cut down 10 alder trees, 9 red cedar, and pay nothing into the Green City Fund. Thank you very much.
From 5918 Street in Sullivan. First of all, I have a question. Is the plan to have this development finished with sidewalks and or multi-use path in front of it?
I can speak whenever I want.
Is that a easy transfer to staff?
Okay, Andre, I'm going to speak. You get the camera ready.
Madam Mayor, as part of the
Get the camera ready.
servicing, there will be a
Area between 152 and 156th Street, south of 64th Avenue.
We're just referring to this specific item, sir. If you'd like to speak to it, I'm sorry.
Okay, to this specific item, I'm concerned about the loss of agricultural land. If it absolutely must happen, first of all, I would rather it not happen. I think I would prefer a different type of development, probably a comprehensive, mainly residential in this area near the park. If it must happen, I would prefer to have a green buffer to mitigate the space between Sullivan Park for the park users. If you're using the park and you're looking north to the mountain view, have it blocked by a very industrial looking development versus something that's more residential or green or has trees, it is going to take away from that park calming experience at Sullivan Park. And also the transportation has an impact. If there's a sidewalk, it could help with arriving and leaving by bus. Is there a possibility of a greenway right away south of the property, or even an alleyway, a roadway that could also connect the property to 156th Street parallel to the train tracks?
So we can ask those questions when it comes time for deliberation on this item.
Okay, thank you. Last thing is I'd rather have residential.
Thank you, sir. Second call for anyone.
Okay, so my name is Judy Chwani,
I work on a foundation, new foundation for community partnerships. I'm actually a community activist. I oppose anything that you do because you don't address corruption within the community. The only reason that we've got these kind of buildings going up and killing off the wildlife and killing off all the trees, displacing hundreds, thousands of people into homelessness, breaking up families, is because it props up the BC government and their budget. Okay? I'm facing homelessness. I live off Ravine. There's a building that was built 2 years ago that sits empty. It was meant for the elderly people, but nobody's moving in. It's as dark can be. And then over there, another building with nothing but blaring lights with the fire alarms going off, and that's been sitting like that for 2 years. And now they're going to be building again, not even 2 doors down from me, ripping up all the trees, killing off all the wildlife, throwing more people out into the streets as the cement cracks. The houses are shifting, and our houses are being flooded by these property developers that actually commit crimes, which leads into illegal organ harvesting because these buildings don't do nothing but launder money.
Thank you, madam.
Seriously, man, I'm facing homelessness. Lots of people are facing homelessness. This isn't right. You bring in an immigration population to replace the Canadian-born people as you lock up the old people into old folks' homes and apprehend their houses so that you can property development and build more condos that nobody wants.
Thank you, madam.
Seriously.
Second call for anyone else wishing to speak to this item.
You need to stop and think about it.
Hello, my name is Victoria. I'd just like to say I don't want more land taken out of the agricultural land reserve. I think it's necessary that we keep it for future use.
Bullshit.
For food security issues, and I think it's a mistake to keep coming away from it, even though we're in the city. I think we should be surrounding it with pathways that help people enjoy the agricultural land, and that's all I have to say.
Third and final call for anyone else wishing to speak to this item.
What do people sit here for? Just to listen?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mike Compton, I'm the agent on this project. So I just wanted to speak to some of the comments that were made. If I could ask, just bring up the use of the property. This is one of those properties that's a real anomaly in Surrey. It's in the ALR, except it's zoned industrial. You can see from the picture on the screen that currently it's utilized as a truck facility. It's not being farmed, it's not agricultural, it's not being used for agricultural. It is.
Just show the screen too. What? The screen.
The project, as mentioned, will be extending sidewalk along 64th Avenue for the full frontage of the property.
Just
The
talk.
driveway is purposely being situated as far east as possible to mitigate the impacts of the intersection. So as far away from 52nd Street. Just to reduce any interactions with left turn movements and traffic on 64th Avenue.
Everybody's so polite.
The property, the road will be widened on the property as well. It's currently diverges down to 2 lanes as you go east, so it'll be widened for the extent of the property and then tapered further east again to 2 lanes. The property will be landscaped along the 3 sides of the property. There will also be a buffer ratio of trucks on the east side of the property that will all become green space. All landscapes, and it will also provide the necessary management features for the property. So I just wanted to clarify a few of those things.
Third and final call for anyone else wishing to speak to this item.
I'm Sheardall, architectural property. Just want to grab a couple points that might just identify. We also have the area review, please. as we see that historically this property has been used for the uses that are closest to industrial, and we do have a corridor of railway to the south, high intensity arterial to the north. Everything around the property is rather heavy and intense use kind of thing, and the kind of proposal that we move forward is rather well crafted with farmland protection buffer to the east side, landscape on all sides, adding neck value and quality to the neighborhood, which is eventually going to be beneficial for all of the other neighboring properties as well as the environmental features to the north. This is essentially going to be a net addition to the surroundings and the neighborhood. There is nothing that is going to be or concern of traffic or environment or any other, if you see there isn't many natural features or trees or insensitive areas that are going to be depleted in any way. So that's it. Thank you. Just wanted to augment a little bit and see what thank you.
Thank you, sir. Third and final call for anyone else wishing to speak to this item.
I don't think I went to the right item.
Thank you. I'm going to take 2 minutes.
I think maybe I spoke to the wrong item, but I was told I was supposed to just go up. So, who knows? Not that it's going to make much difference, because you already seen they're already out there freaking digging up the ground. They haven't even got an approval and they're digging up the ground today. Like, what the heck is that nonsense? No. Yeah. They won't deal with the corruption, that's for sure.
That was a quick 2 minutes, I hope.
I'm just wondering why.
Next delegation, please, Madam Clerk.
Delegation number 2 is a public hearing for property located at
See?
477.
I'm on number 8. They're calling number 2. Quiet.
This public hearing is for Surrey zoning bylaws amendment bylaw number 20850. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject site from 1 acre residential.
I don't think I was supposed to talk.
It
Wasn't my time to talk.
Subdivision into 2 single-family lots. We did receive one piece of written correspondence expressing opposition to the proposal.
Will you stop
We have 1 registered speaker.
being noisy?
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to hear comments from members of the public first who have registered to speak, and then we will go to anyone else who has not registered to speak in this public hearing. Madam Clerk, you're ready for first speaker.
And the first speaker is Richard Lundell.
Didn't he already spoke? But he's speaking again. Okay, I get 2 times to speak, people. If this old guy here can speak twice, I can speak twice.
Richard Landale, Streetway. I'd like to take an extra moment to thank the City Clerk and their office for helping me this evening. 79210043.
When you first told somebody was squabbling. What? When you first told somebody was squabbling.
Page 2200.
Because people don't have the nerve to say it themselves.
Barbara's Mike Fadden drawings depict the street canopy on drawings T1 and T2. But because of a street view, informed council of these 4 magnificent trees.
Yeah.
I deplore money making at the expense of the city's decline in the tree canopy.
Yeah.
I wish council
Killing all the trees.
in this matter and decline the application.
Thank you, sir.
Stop it. Stop it.
We are now going to go to anyone else who is not registered to speak to this public hearing. First call for anyone else who is not registered to speak.
Okay, so you can go 2 times.
First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the City of Surrey and all of the
Yeah.
and elected leaders.
I'll just wait for number 8.
That have already been constructed in the city of Surrey. They are wonderful for both
These guys are going twice.
parents,
I'll just wait for number 8.
and cyclists, and because it's wonderful for many people. Many people appreciate multi-use paths. My first question is, would this development also include a multi-use path and or sidewalk and or other cycling infrastructure in front of it?
Shh.
Mr. Connor, can you respond to that?
Madam Mayor, for this particular development application, they would be responsible for constructing a sidewalk on the multi-use.
Then my humble suggestion would be to encourage the developer and builder to consider an option of higher density in exchange for slightly greater setback and multi-use path and green space boulevard. Much like some of the other free buildings in the area that are consistent in the area, including some that are two-story apartments and common retail, which have the wonderful feature of being pedestrian-oriented retail. Thank you very much for your time.
You're being naughty. Stop it.
Second call for anyone else wishing to speak to this item.
I told you, people. There's just some dude behind me. He goes, "Excuse me, ma'am. You have a recording device?" I said, "Yeah, I have a camera." But I turned it off, right? Well, we have Livestream here. You're not allowed to record. I said, "This is a public meeting." I said, I'm recording. It's my life. When I'm up there speaking, I'm going to record myself. Like I told you people, right? People want to clap, but they're afraid. Andre said people were clapping for me, but they're afraid, people. They're afraid to stand up, right? Because we get targeted. If we stand up and speak out, we can, just like this fucking dude behind me. You put your camera away. What you can do, call the cops? Call the cops. You're going to target me anyway. You've been targeting me. Sook had me out in the... Sook had me out in the freaking yard for 10 months, people. 10 months. Why do you think I'm fucking blind? Huh? How many times did the city, with their whip on their back, on my back, got me out in that fucking yard? For what? To tear it down? Kill all the wildlife? Kill all the trees? Everybody's upset about the trees. Yeah. This fella's been up 6 times, and he keeps fighting for the trees, man. You gotta love this old man. He's like full of spitfire. He's been up for every single one, fighting for the trees, man. But I got security on my ass, people, so I gotta turn this off.
Comprehensive Development Zone 104, bylaw number 20846. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject site from single-family residential zone and duplex residential zone to comprehensive development zone in order to permit the development of a 6-story residential apartment building. We did receive one piece of written correspondence expressing opposition to the proposal, and we have 2 registered speakers.
Thank you. We are going to hear the comments from members of the public who have registered to speak first, and then we will go to anyone else who is not registered to speak at this public hearing. But we're ready for the first speaker.
The first speaker is Judy Chorney.
Hey, that's me. I'm trying to stay focused. By doing what you're doing, all the cats, dogs, domestic pets are being displaced as people are being evicted from their houses. Okay? To accommodate property development that destroys every single tree in the neighborhood. The walnut trees, the oak trees, the weeping willow trees, Norway maple trees, every tree that you can think of, and then they come in with the ornamental trees to try and make it look like they're being green when they're not tearing down the rest of the houses in the neighborhood. Okay? They target the elderly with the ones with the houses because they're the ones with the assets that can go into the long-term care. So if they break an ankle and they end up at the Surrey Memorial Hospital, it's not long before they're in the temporary care ward, and then they're gone and you never see them again, and their houses go up for sale. I know that for a fact because my stepdad was medically kidnapped by that system. All right? Then they come in and they target you in your houses when you kind of like a middle-class family, lower income, you know, they pick off one here, pick off one here, one gets murdered by fentanyl, the cops cover it up, next thing you know, they're on a hospital bed, their organs are being illegally harvested. This is real. You need to wake up, because that money is what's being funneled into these buildings that are being built, not to benefit the community, but to benefit organized religion that's in partnership with organized crime.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
Serious?
The next speaker is Richard Landau.
I told you.
I can't, I gotta get out of here, man. I'm sorry. You're playing with real lives. These are my grandchildren. They're orphaned.
Okay, people, I blew a gasket. I'm sorry. I'm just too emotional with this shit. With those guys busting up the freaking ground today, you know, and it's not even been approved. This is what this is supposed to be, right? They're probably turning off the water. They're probably turning off the water to the house. Well, to the duplex. And who pops up? Freaking Sook. Sook shows up. I told him, what the hell, man? You had me outside for 10 fucking months working in the yard. Well, now I'm blind, right? And that's not the first time he brought his whip and put it on my back, people. I told him, I said, well, you know what I'm saying is true. He kind of agreed with me. You know, he didn't want to get too deep in it. But, you know, instead, I said, why do you think you're so insulated from never being affected to it? He says, oh, I had to move out of the city. Yeah, well, that's good for you to say. You can afford to go. There's nothing holding you back. But me, I can't go with people. I'm stuck in this fucking city, right? Because, you know, I got a Mari and I can't go too far into the bush, you know? And you, what? They're just going to encroach on, run from your problems? Like, come on. Oh, I don't know, people. I told you I was going to cause trouble, right? And I left. I just walked out because, you know, I'm fucking hollering, right? And they come out, are you okay? Are you okay?
That way.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just pissed off, man. You know? You'd be pissed off too, right? All right? Worry about Matilda. Worry about, I worry about my neighbors, for crying out loud. Worry about their pets. You know, I got stray cats showing up at my house. Don't want to fucking leave, move in and beat up on my cats and let everybody know who's boss. Like little Mo, right?
She already took Mickey's spot.
Yeah, she already took Mickey's spot over, and you know, and she I don't know, right? Got Wonder Cats, you know, meow, 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 won't go away. So, like, what the hell, right? You know, it's not right. Like, and then I had a couple of women approach me, you know. One of them called themselves a freedom fighter. I gave her my phone number. I said, call me. She wants my story about, you know, illegal organ harvesting and the money laundering and all this. She says, you know, you're right. I said, I know I'm right. It is. They're laundering dead body parts. No, I'm smoking. Just keep pushing. You know, they're laundering the dead body parts to do this shit, right? And it's all levels of government. It's not just municipal, right? It's federal too. I said to Sue, like, what? They're gonna bring in another 100,000 immigrants? Where are you gonna put them, right? You know? He goes, I know what you mean. Yeah, well, you know, like, well, fucking say something. He said, well, I try. Well, I don't know. But, you know, he's between a rock and a hard spot, I suppose. I told him, you could be my friend. You could be. You know, it's not like we're friends. Kind of like friends, but... Yeah, we'll just keep walking. We have to phone Tisha and let her know that I stormed out of there. And it's like... I don't know, people. I'm just glad I don't have to do the food prep now, because now I can take my focus and for what little time I have left in this house. But it's such a sad... Yeah, okay. It's such a sad situation. Andre, just let me finish what I gotta say. It's just such a sad situation that, you know, every day I'm shrouded in sadness, you know? But, And now they're going to start building, and the big trucks are coming, and the cement's going to be cracking, and more trees are going to be falling down, and you know, and it just not including the trees that they're going to tear down, right? You know, Matilda's going to feel desperate because there's less habitat for her and the raccoon and just whatever, right? You know, like these people that are running this freaking scheme. I don't know, people. I don't think I made a difference, but maybe a little bit, right? You know, desperate times requires desperate measures, right? I just hope Sook doesn't come back and start harassing me over freaking, because it's gray. There's nothing blooming right now, right? So, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep track of this shit. I'm gonna document it. Yeah, I'm gonna document the big trucks going by, all the shit. If I see my cement cracking more, I'm gonna document it. If my neighbor's trees are falling down because of what these bastards are doing, I'm gonna document it. Yeah. And then I don't know what I'll do with it after the fact, but, you know. What the hell? Why is Sook working at this time of night? They got... yeah, really, why is he working at night? Night shift? Since when? He's a day shift bylaw officer. Right? Oh, was he working 24/7? Oh, maybe that's it. He's a robotoid. Cheap labor. Just plug him in for a few hours and charge his battery and stick him on duty. Right? Shit. That's just too funny. Oh my god. Oh, I heard something. I'm gonna end this. Okay? I heard something. Odessa. Liberty Talk News. Okay, not my information. This is something she dropped on one of her videos. Something about the BC NDP government. This one here, right? The current one. I don't know. They got a hold of all the chicken farms and are building in some kind of an emergency broadcast system so that if something happens, I don't know what that means. They can contact the the hen houses, I guess, to book for slaughtering them, kill them all off at one time. What else would it be? Right? You know? So I'm just wondering if we're going to have a major, what is that called? Egg shortage coming up here real soon. Because you know all that shit staged, right? You know? Oh my god, people coming up behind me. It's so scary. Ooh, speaking of that, Tamika might be running around. God forbid she come up and push me down, that stupid bitch. She's so awful. Yeah. She's so corrupt with her mind that she'd do something like that. Anyway, don't think like that. But yeah, like, I try to be focused, but I get passionate with it, people. That's the problem. And, you know, I want them to feel the pain that they create. Because this has been an ongoing pain for me, people. Okay? Yeah. I'm almost done. This has been an ongoing pain for me. Okay? Well, the light's going to change here in a minute. This has been an ongoing pain for me that only gets worse because of progress, property development. Yeah. It's supposed to make you feel good. Yeah. Right. Well, for many people it doesn't feel good. And I spoke on behalf of other people that couldn't speak for themselves. And I know for a fact that a lot of these old people are being targeted in their homes, people, because when Uncle John was in that temporary care ward, what the hell do you think was in that place? It was mostly full of old white people that weren't allowed to go back home. That's exactly what it was, people. Okay? It burned my goat. It burned my kid's goat. It burned Uncle John's goat. And next thing you know, John was medically kidnapped and completely disappeared. Okay? And they stole his money, just like they're stealing these old people's houses and then locking them up in these old folks' homes and making them pay for it. Yeah, making them pay for it, people. Because some fucking immigrant doctor, immigrant social worker, immigrant this, immigrant that, with senior union staff that's employed by the government, like an Eleanor Gilding, the fine Catholic, told him to do it. It's pathetic. Completely fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you want to go to Walmart?
Yeah, we'll go to Walmart. Gotta go buy eggs. The government's up to something.
Oh,
They're bringing in an emergency broadcast with all the chicken coops. That means they're going to be killing birds out here pretty soon, people. And there won't be no eggs. Maybe when there's no eggs, that's when people will wake up to smell the freaking coffee and realize how corrupt their government really is. I don't know what it's going to take for Canadian people to understand that, for the most part. Except for those freedom fighters, they already know, right? Anyway, so much for being diplomatic, okay? Now I'm in Walmart on the verge of tears. Like, seriously, this stress is just getting to me. Look, I am not looking forward to having these big-ass freaking trucks going up and down the alley, going up and down in the front, freaking 5 at a time, from 7 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the morning. What am I talking about 7? They start at 6. Till freaking who knows how long in the evening time. And they do this like 5, 6, 7 days a week. They rumble the house, people. The house shakes when they roll on by. Especially when they're coming in multiples, one after another. And then they sit up there and they park right in front of my fucking house with their motors running. It's pathetic. Okay? And like, people are helpless to do anything about it. Right? Andre said this last little episode, there was someone trying to clap. They're scared. They're scared, people. Because you get targeted. Well, what's going to happen to me? When freaking Sook showed up out of nowhere. Sook of all people. Like, doesn't the guy take any time off and rest? Like, you're working 24/7. Like, what the heck? Did you get $1? Huh? Okay, well, go get a buggy. Or are you going to get that buggy? And then they come outside. Oh, are the kids okay? The kids? Well, why wouldn't they be okay? Crying out loud. As if they don't know what Nana can get like. In terms of... Yip.
Whoever left this?
What is it?
Hot dogs.
I don't know. This is... I know. This is like abandoned buggies with a bunch of food in them. You gotta watch what you buy from this store. You don't know how long that stuff's been sitting there for. Andre wants me to record that meat is... No, he said, you want to take a video of...
I said, if you...
How the meat is disappearing in Walmart. Now, mind you, it's in the evening, right? But it is kind of bare, don't you think? Right? Not that I want anything, because I don't. But I'm always looking for those deals. Look for that discounted meat.
Discounted?
Yeah. Got my pressure canner out.
We're in the sausage section.
I don't know. I don't...
Oh, I see what you mean by raw.
Yeah, those are raw. See?
$11.97.
Yeah. Hold on. Eggs might be a problem here. I was running out of eggs. Yeah, big gaps in here. Look. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to do these meatballs. And I have some more in a bag in the fridge. Andre ate a whole bunch as well. So there's some just old beef stock, still pretty good. This is like a gravy. Well, it's not a gravy, it's like you know those beef sandwiches that you dip into a beef broth? I think that's what that is. This is another beef broth. And then we've got some of this, so in a big pot of water, right? This is the that. So I'm gonna put some, just a little bit. I'm gonna anyway make a broth for these meatballs. Andre, will you come here, please? I said, come here. I want you to taste this and tell me what you think of it. Hot? Little bit. Good enough for meatballs? Yeah?
Yep.
It's kind of beefy?
Yeah.
It's not too salty, right? I think it's just right.
It's just right.
And then if we want after, we can always add more,
Yeah,
right? Plus, if I want to make gravy, I can add more, right?
Yeah.
But for canning, what do you think?
It's good.
It's good. Okay. And then you can help start filling up the jars a little bit.
Hi people, today I am learning how to can. Right now?
Yeah.
I already did meatballs.
You filled up the jars. And you took out the gelatin with the whatever it was. Yeah, which we put in there.
Now.
Right? And it had a little bit of the chickpea flour and just whatever, right? And because it's a bean, it's not like a quote-unquote flour, right? Just whatever you do, don't try and put the camera too close because it heats up. Can't help yourself, can you?
It's good. I just like it.
I know. Well, there'll probably be some left.
Yes. Just put it in a cup and drink it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's March 6th, 2023. Just finishing up with this video, right? So the meatballs are done. Now we're going to do these sausages. What I'm going to do, people, I'm just going to cut them up. Fry them, degrease them a bit, jar them up, and use the broth that I have. So hold on. Okay, so basically I'm just like working first thing in the morning here, right? I fell asleep, obviously, got up, opened up the canner, okay, whatever. Washed the jars. You can see 7 jars of the meatballs. Now, I'm not 100% completely happy with this. So I think over the next week or 2, or maybe even 3, I'm going to open up a jar and I'm going to do my bean burger with the great white northern beans there and some potato and whatever, and just before I put it away, right? Because if I don't like it, I'm not keeping it. I'm just saying. Okay? So in the meantime, I think because I put too much chickpea flour. But anyway, either or. Now we're doing this. I'm just, I don't know. I'm just going to heat them up good. And maybe crisp them up a little bit. I'm not sure yet. And then, you know, right? And then eventually I've got 5 jars there and I can get 2 more if I need them. Right? And then get that done hopefully by 1 o'clock this afternoon, by the time everything's in jars. And then I'm going to use the same broth that I had before. So hold on. Okay, so before I boil this off, I'm curious to see what happens if you strain it and then let it solidify. I'm curious to see how much grease I actually get out of it compared to, I guess you could say, gelatin. Right? So I'm going to take these and put them in the bowl and start again. And then I may come back. I may put a little bit of oil with the frying pan a little higher and just sear them a bit before I put them in the jar. And I'll probably cut them in half yet. So hold on. Okay, so another reason why you want to do this way in terms of home canning, Okay? There's been reports coming out through boots on the ground that people are buying like, manufactured canned beef, manufactured canned chicken. I don't remember the brands, but anyway, in people buying, right? And they buy in 2021 and they're going back into their pantries, just going through their food, because you have to do that, right? Because even these jars can pop sometimes, right? But they're finding that whatever they bought when it came to the chicken and the beef with these particular products, the cans themselves are inferior, people. And I already pointed that out in one of my previous videos when I went off and I bought those canned milk from Walmart. That was I guess a company like they call it Great Value, and I bought like stews and stuff. I don't remember the brand, but either or, the point is at the bottom of here they were buckling, just and big dents in there, right? Pointed that out. Well, apparently it's happening to a whole lot of other people now. Yeah. Well, I don't know about a whole lot, but it's starting to happen to other people now. They're going into their pantries with things that they bought from 2021, and their cans are buckling at the bottom, at the seams. Right? And of course, because they bought it in 21, company's not going to do nothing about it, people. It's because they slivered back on their aluminum. The cans aren't as strong as they used to be. Now I'm pretty sure that's what it is, right? People are going to start getting real shady with the things that they do. They even have something like fake eggs going around in the United States of America, right? You have to fully cook them before you can tell that they're rubber. Otherwise, if they're not fully cooked, like whole, you can't blend it into other foods, because if you blend it into other foods, you wouldn't notice it when it cooks up. But if you crack an egg and fry it, try to go eat it, it's like rubber. Like, who does that? Who makes fake eggs? Right? Well, crooked people who goes around body snatching and harvesting organs illegally. Crooked people, like people do the strangest things for money, I have no scruples. So anyway, now that, so I'm just going to put that lid on and just bring up that heat internally to release out some of these juices. And then you can see what I'm doing here to see what happens after the fact. Okay. Now these ones are with the cheese, apparently, but I'm not too worried about it, because for the amount of cheese in there, it's probably more just to do with the labeling for people to think that they're eating cheese. Outside of the packages themselves, which were about 500 grams, which is what? Over a pound, were $3. That's why I bought them. I bought 7 times 3 is 21, so I paid $21 for what I'm going to be canning now. Okay, I've got 5 jars there, just washed 2 more just in case I might need them. It depends. We'll have to wait and see. And for 21 bucks, it's not too bad, because normally these things are running anywhere between $5.97 and $7.88 or $7.99 or whatever, depending on the store that you go to. So for $3 a pack, I don't normally buy them ever, really, unless I find stuff like this on sale. So that was kind of like I was leaving the meat department, and I just happened to ask, if they had any other meat that was like, on sale, and she pointed it out, and I thought, oh, Andre likes sausages, I'll whatever. So that's why I have them. Now this one is a honey something, and these ones are the cheese something. But if you're going to go as far as canned straight up butter, okay, and you have to remember, when you open this up, you're not eating it right up out of a jar, okay? You're having to heat it up, bring it to a boil, keep it on a low boil with a lid on top to keep that heat inside for at least 10 minutes, and also too so the liquid doesn't escape, right? Before you consume it. So You know, that's applicable right across the board when it comes to a low acid food. So if there happens to be a tad bit of milk products in this, I'm not sweating it. I'm really not. Okay? My concern is, I don't know if the taste of the sausage is going to complement the broth, but I have enough broth to cover what I need to do. So to keep things simple, I'll probably just use the broth that I already have, and then, you know, maybe in a couple of weeks from now, I'll open up one of those jars to see if I like the combination of a beef broth, for example, with these sausages. But yeah, you need to stop and think when you're buying these cans. It doesn't matter what the can is and what's inside it. It's the fact that these manufactured companies are cutting back on the quality of the cans, and they're deteriorating faster over time, to which they shouldn't at all, really, technically, right? And with, you know, the sabotage going on with the metal manufacturing plants that actually create metal, you know, smelter metal, to sell to other companies that need metal, like the big one that just went off in, oh, I can't remember where it was already. It was just recent, like in the last week. You know, one of the major distributors of metal to companies that need metal is destroyed. So, you know, which pushes the prices of metals up even more, which puts that cost burden onto the company. So through their calculations, through their simulations, with their computer, you know, projections, in terms of, well, if we take off, you know, just a sliver of this amount of whatever they're using for their cans, you know, that compromises the can people, right? It was starting to show. So if you can, try and do stuff like this, okay? If you don't eat meat, then you don't have to worry about it. You have to stock up with the dry goods, the beans and the mung beans and those kind of things, the wheat, you know, that kind of stuff, right? But if you're a meat eater and you depend on that protein, you know, and you want that for your family, then yeah, I highly recommend just going out of your way and doing stuff like this. Because, you know, even this fat, after it's all said and done, I put it in the fridge, we'll let it solidify, and we'll see what happens. And the fat that rises, you can still cook with that, right? It's a meal to fry or whatever. If you're making like a potato dough, for example, say you want to make perehe, right? You want to make perehe, you need a little bit of lard in your flour to make your dough soft. It only takes a tablespoon or two, depending on how much you're making. So that in itself is one meal, right? I'm just saying. And then you take whatever's left, and that's how you fry your onions. Just saying. And it didn't cost you anything other than degreasing, right? Okay, so it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning here, so I'm doing pretty good time. Because I want to go to this city hall meeting, right? Even if I only get 3 minutes. All right, so I'll try really hard to get there on time. So in the meantime, this is the beef fat that came out of the hamburger, okay? Which I've already rinsed off, you can see, right? This is what I'm going to use after I'm done this one. This is what I'm going to use to refry them. I'm going to just give them a quick fry in that, just a little bit on a high, like kind of medium high, right? Just enough to sear them a bit. That's just what I want to do. And then after, I will melt this, and then I'll strain it through some cheesecloth and pour it into, you know, those quarter cup jars or salmon jars, right? Depending on what I have. I know I have salmon jars. I don't know about the quarter cup jars, and this would have to go in the freezer, but you're going to see how I'm going to already start using it. So hold on. Okay, so now that I've done that, you can see I'm just using a little bit of that beef fat. Because I don't want oil, I want fat. Okay, might have to add a little bit more. And I'm just going to heat it up. Move these around fast like this. Okay, just, I don't know, just something I want to do. Hold on. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is I'm frying them as if I was going to eat them soon, right? Now, I can't see as well as you, but I can kind of see that it's starting to brown up in here. That's kind of what I want. And that's what I'm shooting for. And then eventually I'm going to move them into here, let them cool. And then I'm probably not going to cut them in half because I'm pretty sure I can get 4 or 5 on the bottom. And just, I'm going to see if I can keep them this size, right? And, you know, you can do large chunks of chicken and those kinds of things, right? Not everything has to be in 1-inch squares, okay? As long as you've got enough liquid in there for the heat to travel through, right? It will be fine. And then what you're seeing here is I don't have to add any more grease. Okay, I just throw these ones in now. Oops, that one fell down. Okay, hold on. So I'm using the initial amount of beef fat that I started out with. Okay, and I'm just going and doing this fast. You can see, right? And this is what we're getting. Now, this is the one here with the cheese, where this one is that other one, and I got everything in a jar, you can see. Okay, and then I'll be doing this as well. I'll probably only get maybe 2 more jars, if that. Well, yeah, I'll get 2 more jars, and then a couple of scragglers that maybe I'll, we'll eat later. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so, right, it's gonna go in probably 2 jars, for sure. To clean your pan, just add a bit of water. Okay? When it's hot, take your scraper, and it all comes off. Okay, easy to wash. Now I've taken the time to strain this. Obviously we can see food coloring, sorry. Right, but that's to be expected with some sausages. And then I'll put this in the fridge. And then later, wandering eye, where am I? Yeah. And then later, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it separates. Right? Okay, so this is going along really, really good. This is the leftover broth from yesterday, so I'm going to warm that up. Fill up these jars. This is what's left. Andre already ate 3 of them. So I had 7 packs, so we won't include, well, yeah, 7 packs minus, because I just had a piece, right? You get 3 jars at 4 sausages per pack, which is not too bad. I wanted to buy more, but because I had bought the hamburger, and I don't want to overwhelm myself when it comes to this stuff. But first of all, these taste really, really good. I just had a sip of this, and this is really, really, really good. So they're going to combine really well together, I think. It's like Andre's, he just wants to drink it straight from a cup, right? So whatever's left, we'll go with this, and maybe I'll cut a few potatoes. We'll see. We'll see how much. I don't think these jars are going to take up too much liquid, right? And then, yeah. I'd like to do this again for sure. Okay, so I'm going to try something different here. Now, normally when you can just straight up stock, I used to say 20 minutes, but it's actually 25, okay? But in this situation, I didn't strain it. So it has little bits of hamburger in it, and just whatever that was at the bottom of the tray when I made the meatballs, I put it into that broth, right along with the gelatin. I didn't show you that part, okay? Andre and I, we just separated the fat from the gelatin, which was, had the chickpea flour in it, and maybe pieces of apple, and obviously hamburger, right? And then, as I was filling up the jars, just move the water around, the liquid around so that everything, okay, so at the end, though, you're going to get little bits of hamburger, technically, you know, it's meat, right? It should be 90 minutes. So I've never put in just straight up broth into a canner for 90 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of siphoning or what. You can see what happened here. We got a fair amount of siphoning. When it's below half the jar, that's when it's a problem. When it's like that, it's okay because that's less than half, right? You know what I'm saying? All right. Obviously, some jars siphoned more than others. I don't know why things do that, but it does happen. Okay, so regardless. All right. So 90 minutes because it's meat. I don't know how this is going to respond. We're a little short there because this is really good. And yeah, I could be using it, but at the same time, I'm busy. And I'm going to be making these noodles with these noodle maker things that I've got going with the homemade wheat. And so, you know, it's just, Andre really likes that. I say, oh, Andre, you know, as long as it doesn't go down too far, it will be enough for one little batch of noodles. So being that this one here is just a little short, a little shy, I'm just going to touch it up with a bit of water. And also, too, when you have more jars in the pressure canner, that's a little high. What do you call it? The pressure in the pressure canner tends to hold better. 3 jars, it's going to fluctuate a lot. Now, when you do, technically, when you do stock, I think it's like only a 1/4 inch off the top. But because this is going to be in for 90 minutes, I don't know. So anyway, I guess we'll find out. Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to finish this video because I got to get it on the computer. I'm not going to upload it because I have to cook these pork chops. I want to egg them up, bread them, bake them. And then I gotta go get ready to go to this City Hall thing. I'm so tired, people. It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been doing this since this morning. Anyway, okay, so I know why this happened. I'm pretty sure I know why this happened, people. Because if you noticed, this was in the canner for 90 minutes. And look, this is the broth. Look at that. Nothing siphoned out. I gave it extra time to cool in the canner before I opened up the lid. Same thing here. Why do you think? What do you think happened here? I can pretty much tell you what happened here. When I filled up Andre filled up the jars. The meatballs had already been in the fridge, out of liquid, because I drained them, put them in a bucket, put them in the fridge. Right? And then made the broth, okay, so what I'm trying to say is when the meatballs, what I should have done, people, and I was going to do it, but I should have taken the meatballs and put them into the stock and let the meatballs simmer on low for a little while, just to absorb the liquid, so that when it went into the jar and I filled up the liquid, it would stay up. Because these came fresh from being in the frying pan. You seen what I did, okay? And if you notice, not too much siphoning going on here. Okay, now it may drop a little bit after it cools down, but nothing like this. The reason it dropped like this is because the meatballs absorbed the liquid. That's what happened. I'm pretty sure. Because they're all like that. And the meatballs were cold when they went into the jar. Yeah, and they'd already been in the fridge. Oh, I don't know, almost 2 days because I babysat. Right? I was going to can, but I ended up babysitting. So that day was gone. So the next day, I went to can. I was going to put them, my instincts told me to put them in the pot with the liquid, do it that way, but I wasn't too sure how much liquid I was going to need to fill up the jars. So I thought I'd cheat. Well, look what I got. Less. But that's okay. Because, you know, you boil some potatoes or something, you get your potato water, you can mash a little potato in that potato water, you add it to this, add a little more seasoning if you need it, and you're still going to get a good gravy. But if you're trying to avoid this problem, if you want to see it as a problem, okay, you might want to make sure that your meat is, especially in a situation like this, right? Because the meat absorbed the liquid. That's what happened. Clearly, you can see. Because if anything was going to siphon after 90 minutes of being in a pressure canner, it would have been the straight up liquid. And if you noticed, it didn't. Neither jar did. Okay? So, being that there's little bits and pieces of meat in here, we know this one's safe. If I would have completely strained it out and had no little bits and pieces of meat, then I would have only had to pressure can for 25 minutes. But because there's even just little bits of meat, better to do the 90 minutes. And now you know you can do basically liquid like this for 90 minutes in a pressure canner. But as soon as you start taking dry meats, you know, so before you pour in your liquids, you might want those dry meats, whatever they may be. Because sometimes you can't, you know, canning can take a long time. It's a lot of prep work, right? So, you know, you cook a roast and you want to can it that night, but you get tired, so you cut it up, you put it in the fridge. You know, before you throw it in the jars, right, you might want to put it in a little bit of broth and let it absorb the broth. Then put it in the jars. Then fill it up with the rest of your liquids. And I can almost guarantee you, you're not going to get this problem. You might get a bit of siphoning, but nothing like this. Okay? Clearly, you can see what's going on here. I mean, look, the liquid is all the way up in here, all the way up in here. It's almost like this one didn't really siphon. It did a little bit. You can see it did a little bit, but not much, right? But it's still good. So far, everything's nicely canned. Right? This one I want to try because what happened was after I canned it, I turned off the canner. I laid down. I went to sleep. And when I got up this morning, I don't even remember what time it was. I don't know, 3:34, something like that. I opened up the canner and I didn't necessarily like the smell that came out of it. But now, mind you, it was sitting, you know, with the lid on. So, you know, before, like, right, for a long time, and sometimes canners can get kind of funky, right? So, you know, I just want to make sure this is okay, because these meatballs with that chickpea flour, you know, I think I put a little bit too much chickpea flour and it, you know, not enough seasoning, salt. Definitely I didn't add no salt, which needed more salt, right? And myself, I think that using too much chickpea flour kind of put it to a more, I don't know, bitter taste for whatever reason. But then that could just be me. But add a little salt and it was perfect. So if I would have opened up my canner sooner, I probably wouldn't have had that. You know, it's like fermenting. You know, it was fermenting, and because even the jars, they still came out warm. So I'm going to cook up anyway. I'm going to work with one of these in a week or two when I'm done with the beans and, you know, get this all put out away, and I got the butter to do, the whipping cream to do, still have the black cod to do with the mackerel or halibut or whatever I've got, fish ends. And so anyway, keep that in mind. Okay? Because this is really good.